Hey strangers, how are you today? Today, let's talk about Japanese learning. So, how to learn the hiragana more quickly? If you search on Google, you can easily find hiragana and katakana. I recommend starting with hiragana and treating each character as an image to be memorized through association. The goal of this stage is to recognize the characters rather than to write them. So it is more important to be able to read and identify the character when you hear it, rather than being able to write it. Give you 5 seconds to think, what is this? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so you know it is is more important than I say and you write in this stage, and how I memorize. For example, when I see the character key, I associate with the English word key because they look similar to me. And when I see the character sa, I will tell myself sa is key but minus 1 line. I make connections between Japanese and Chinese sounds. Chinese is my native language. It can help me remember some words. For instance, I associate the Japanese word mo with the Chinese word mao because they look alike. Using this association method, I develop a concept for each character. Then I train myself to react quickly when I see the characters. And next one, I will find a song I really love and I don't mind listening this song for so many times. It's the same theory if you put a song to be your morning song, and you are definitely going to hate it. And I will use this song to practice my recognition skills. The lyrics must have hiragana lyrics. When you first start reading the lyrics, your reading speed will be slow. If you can immediately read a word upon seeing it, it means you are familiar with it. If you need to think for more than 5 seconds to read a word, it means you are not familiar with it. You can read through the entire page first, and there will definitely be words that repeat. By focusing on the repeated words, you can deepen your memory. Try reading the whole piece first. Remember not to rush to find the answer. When you cannot read a word, you can try using association or other methods to help you remember. The important thing is the thinking process. If you are always just look up the answers, you will never remember the hiragana. And I learned 1 to 50 lessons, Minna no Nihongo, by this channel. During this process, I often encounter grammar that are easily confused. I may make mistakes when writing practice questions or find it difficult to distinguish between similar grammar. One example of this grammar might be ni and de, which may not exist in my native language grammar system. And in order to better understand the difference, I will Google so many different websites that explains the grammar. After reading through around 20 to 30 different websites, I can establish a set of rules for myself. At this moment, I will take notes. Notes taking is not just copying the content of the web page. I will use my own words to explain the grammar in colloquial way to myself. This is the only way it will be useful to me, and it is a product of my own thinking. If I still don't understand, I will refer to the web page again while writing the questions. By doing more practice, I will become more familiar with the grammar. Only a few people can remember the grammar after reading it once or twice. I also spent countless hours and reading hundreds of web pages before I memorize. So don't be frustrated. It's completely normal to not understand at the beginning. First, you need to understand your own learning style, whether you are a visual or auditory learner. This is important because we have limited time and we want to maximize our efficiency when learning vocabulary. If you are a visual learner who can easily remember words by associating the vocabularies with pictures, then flashcards may be a good method for you. You can use good notes to create your own flashcards. So for people like me who are auditory learners, I prefer to buy vocabulary books that come with audio files. I listen to the pronunciation of the word, and if I don't know what a word means, I try to guess its meaning based on the context of the sentence. If I can't figure it out, I listen to the audio file a few more times until I understand it. I also keep a list of the words I'm not familiar with, and I record that list with my own voice. This way, the entire audio file will include the words I need to work on. Ryuga aru. Then I will open my book and find it. Language has no boundaries, but exams do. When time is tight, the most efficient way to prepare is to practice a lot of exercise. I was in my senior year when I was preparing for the exam because I just wanted to pursue my interest. I didn't want to spend too much money on reference books because I would be very upset if I hadn't passed the exam yet. Therefore, the resources I used to prepare for the exam were mainly information I found on the internet and reference books I could borrow from the library. The reason I chose to take the exam was also absurd, because all the textbooks 4 and 3 had been borrowed, leaving only N1 and N2. I felt that I wouldn't have enough time to prepare for N1, and the N1 grammar was very difficult and the vocabulary was boring. In comparison, N2 was much more accessible, and so I decided to start studying it. Here are a few books that I found very helpful when I was preparing for the exam. This is a book with exercises that are rated 4 stars in difficulty that can greatly improve one's ability to think and integrate vocabulary if they are able to answer the questions. The book is divided into theme units such as work, school, and life, followed by units focusing on adjectives, verb, adverb, and onomatopoeia. Next book. This book has so many grammar practice exercises with a difficulty level of 4 stars and various types of questions, including reading comprehension, grammar restructuring, and multiple choice questions with 4 options that are grammatically similar. Therefore, you need to have a certain familiarity with grammar to select the correct answer. For sentence completion, there are many example sentences provided, and you need to choose the one that best fits the context. Overall, this is a great book for developing language skills while writing and thinking. At the beginning, I struggled a lot when I practiced listening comprehension for the simulated exam. I made more mistakes than correct answers, and I thought I was answering correctly. I thought I might just check the wrong answers, but my hands were not stupid. I was the one who was stupid. When I was watching anime, I thought I could understand everything, but when I prepared for the test without subtitles, I realized that I didn't know anything. Like I feel like a loser. So I improvised and started practicing by transcribing Japanese news. I recommend listening to news anchors who speak clearly. And here is how I do it. I will listen for around like 30 seconds and try to write what I hear. This is a great way for you to identify which words you should spend more time, like practicing more. The news covers topics related to daily life, which makes it more interesting if you want to improve your listening skills quickly. Transcribing about 10 news articles first, and then practicing with exam questions later. And this book I wrote during my practice is very detailed in categorizing the types of dialogues that may appear, such as transportation, weather, instructions from supervisors in meetings, and deliver messages, and ordering food. I really hate when it involves numbers and I have to take notes. After finish each category, you will realize which topic you are less familiar with. In fact, the exam is just rotating around those topics, so practice more on the ones you are not good at, and pray that the exam won't include the ones you are not confident about. If you have already bought a book but you are still a student or a working professional with many data responsibilities and you don't know how to arrange your schedule for studying Japanese, the easy way is to ask ChatGPT. When you ask questions, you can give instructions that suit your lifestyle, and the schedule provided by ChatGPT will be more tailored to your study plan. When I was in my senior year, there was no GPT yet, so I had my own ideal plan. I aim to listen and read once a day, but I forgot that I was such a lazy person. However, I borrowed many reference books from the library, so my routine became one practice exam a day, checking the answers afterward, and that was my limit. The next day, I will correct my mistakes, and the day after that, I will take a break. I will write more when I feel motivated, and when I didn't, I will watch Japanese dramas and animation. I will comfort myself that I was maintaining my language skill, not being lazy until the exam was over. I still have a brand new book. I don't even open. Yeah, I bought it, which is a shame. Lastly, I want to share with you guys my test results. Yeah, I think that's it for today. See you in next video. Goodbye, strangers. I wish you have a wonderful day.